Hello, welcome to Japan Seikatsu. I'm Ian, and I would like to speak to you today about the 2020 JET program delay. Let's get started. Well, I wish I was here to speak to you about something a little more positive, but the reality is that the JET program departure date has been delayed. It looks like, from what I've read from the information being shared by the US JET program, that accepted JET candidates have the opportunity to either wait until September of this year to see if travel restrictions ease up a bit and then get to Japan, or move into the 2021 program. And if travel restrictions don't improve by September, it looks like everybody that would like to will automatically be moved into the 2021 program. So, hey, pretty bad news overall. My sympathies are with everybody. I know how excited everybody was. A lot of people that watch this channel um, were applying to the JET program, and I know this is not the result that you guys were looking for. So my sympathies are with all of you. This is we're all in this boat together. I think most everybody, the plans that we had in 2019 have been turned upside down for 2020. Now, having said that, I know you are faced with what do I do with the next few months or potentially the entire year. And I would, while it may be natural, of course, to worry, I would try to avoid that. Spending energy worrying is not going to be very fruitful. I would try to take that same energy and put it into accomplishing goals, coming up with objectives that you'd like to accomplish with this period of time that you've been granted. I went through the process of thinking, what would I do, having been on the JET program for 3 years in Shikoku, if I suddenly had an additional 2 months or close to a year of time. What would I do to better prepare for the program? And I've come up with a list here that I will share with you. Regardless of your level of Japanese, I would study Japanese. It's a great opportunity. Japanese is extremely time consuming, especially learning kanji. So you've just been granted extra time. It's a good time to start learning Japanese. If you're new to Japanese, I have a recommendation, which is to pick up the Genki series textbooks. There's a Genki 1 and there's also a Genki 2 textbook. I've kept them for many, many years because they give you a great foundation of Japanese. And one of the benefits of the textbook is they start with hiragana and katakana. No romaji. So some books, when you start learning Japanese, they take the English alphabet and you start learning from the English alphabet. I would advise skipping that. The reason being that in Japan, they're using hiragana and katakana, and then of course the kanji characters. So if you just make that first jump into the language, spend this time to learn hiragana, katakana, then you can hit the ground running. You can start reading signs when you get there. I remember when I realized that I could read the McDonald's menu, it was quite a rewarding experience because they're all borrowed English words, hamburger for example, or cheeseburger, and they're written in katakana, which is the alphabet for borrowed words from other languages, and then hiragana is Japanese words. And yeah, you can read it, but if you're studying Japanese through romaji, you're not going to be able to read even the basic menu at McDonald's. So a great opportunity to either get started in the Japanese language, which it will greatly benefit you, or to polish up your Japanese if you've already studied before. Also, a good opportunity if you're able to work and save more money. It's always good to have some extra money in the bank. One thing that I did was I had student loans when I came out of college. I had been working for 3 years, and then I went on the JET program. And in my last year of working, I started prepaying. I could prepay the bulk of my student loans. So that I prepaid it out 1 year, I think. So I didn't have to worry about sending money home and servicing my student loans for that first year in the JET program, which was great. In hindsight, if I could have done that for 2 years or 3 years and just pushed them out even further by paying them down and kind of accelerating those payments, that would have been great. So if you do have student loans, maybe pay down some of that student debt. The other thing that I would have done is to refresh my understanding of English grammar. So as a native speaker, I probably, like many of you, thought, well, I can just kind of hear what is right or wrong. And the truth is that we can't. I mean, what correct spoken English is not always actually grammatically correct. And so going back to kind of the rules, the rules of English grammar that we learned in lower school and middle school will be invaluable. And it's something that you're going to be asked all the time by your JTE, well, why is it like this? And it's so hard because it's something that when you're a native speaker, it's really hard to answer why. But if you study the fundamentals of the language, you'll really be able to answer the why, and you'll also be able to make sure that your English grammar is correct. And again, you can't always rely just on your ear for correct English. Another thing, which I think is obvious, but is important, that you're going to be away from your friends and your family when you're living in Japan. So I would maximize time with friends and family. I remember before I did the JET program, I did a few trips with some siblings and my father, and it was a great time. We had some nice trips. So try to maximize time with your family and with friends that you won't be seeing as often once you go to Japan. Another thing is, when I was on the JET program, I applied to an MBA program, so I needed to take the GMAT exam. So that was months of studying, and it was also a lot of time to then go and take the test. So I was living in Shikoku, and I think the closest test center was on Honshu, so I had to take 3-4 hour bus ride to get to Osaka and then stay in a hotel and take the test. If you think it's possible that you'd like to go to grad school, and if you can get the GRE or the GMAT or whatever the respective test is done now, that is a huge weight off your shoulders once you're on the JET program. Then you can really focus on just the school applications and what school you'd like to go to, instead of managing the test and applying to schools. And also, when you get to Japan, it's very likely you're going to be wanting to spend time studying Japanese. So if you can get one of those exams or qualifications out of the way now, that's great. Another idea is to, and this is a book that I'd recommend. It's called Japan 100 Hidden Towns. And it's a great little book where it just, in very brief terms, talks to interesting little towns, hidden parts of Japan, nature spots that are interesting and fun to visit. Miyoshi, where I lived, is actually in here, Iya Valley. But the reason I share this is because you can come up with a list now. Where would you like to visit in Japan? There is so much more than Osaka and Tokyo. So through YouTube channels or through books like Japan 100 Hidden Towns, if you can find some of those places, you can start building out a list now of places you'd like to go to. And it's also a great conversation starter because your Japanese colleagues and friends will be asking, where would you like to go in Japan? Or and if you say something, if you said something like Miyoshi, I think they would be very curious as to how you even knew about Miyoshi, compared to an Osaka or Tokyo. Okay. Finally, the big thing when you get to Japan and start the JET program is your self-introduction class. And you're going to do this dozens of times. Every class you meet, you're going to be doing a self-introduction, and that is introducing who you are, where you come from, and doing that with different age groups. So for me, I was teaching a lower school and middle school, and then I was also teaching adults, Kiowa. So I was doing it with all age groups, and to prepare for that, you could do slides, you could do PowerPoint slides, you could do I think physical pictures are nice. So I had pictures of my family and my family members, and their occupation or their hobbies, my hometown. I'm originally from Baltimore. Baltimore is famous for crabs, and we've got the Baltimore Orioles. So I had all of that laminated, and I think especially lower school children really appreciated being able to kind of touch and see, where if it's just a PowerPoint presentation, you don't have that kind of physical engagement. And also, when you get there, if there's something that's famous from your hometown that you would like to share with your JTE or maybe some other teachers, maybe it's some Baltimore, for example, Old Bay seasoning, or something that you could bring from your hometown to Japan. Now is a great time to really put together and practice your self-introduction. And there's also a lot of great YouTube channels on that. So I would do a YouTube search to get some ideas there. Well, please do, if you've got other ideas or things that you're thinking to do in this newfound time that you have, please do share it in the comments section. I want to leave you guys with the message that this too shall pass. We've been through difficult times before, and we will get to the other side. In the meantime, stay positive, try to make the most of this time, be productive. Don't forget to don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section so we can continue to build Japan Seikatsu and this community that we have. Well, thank you for your time. Take care, and best of luck, guys.